The idea of having like an open mic film event where basically as long as you came with the film, it would be screened. I think our tagline was "Bring it in, we'll bung it on."
There's a guy called Julian Holman who was also one of the original directors. He started a night called Screen Time, which was a short film night which was programmed, so everyone used to send their films in before the event, and Julian would program the whole night before it started. And they were kind of a mix of local films and national and international films. And I think that run for about a couple of years, and I think Bluescreen kind of took up the baton, so to speak, after that finished.
I mean, it's good that it survived in a way, that it is, like a social screening, a cinema-based social screening kind of context that it works in, and it's still pretty popular. I think it shows that people do like to have their work shown in front of an audience, whereas of course once online video did come in and YouTube and stuff has come in, and that's almost another whole kind of audience, isn't it? A whole theatre of operations where people get millions and millions of views for things and stuff, but no one ever meets each other in the real world.
My first experience of the Cube was going to Bluescreen with a friend who'd made a film, and he also kind of persuaded me to take my first film along as well.
Good evening.
Good evening, welcome to...
Right, let's get some stories making the headlines tonight.
Tonight, David Kay says that he doesn't think America existed, so is it now time for Bush to quit empty-handed?
It's not just the chance to show my own work on a big screen, which is always a thrill, but it's also the chance to see what everyone else is doing. And there's a lot of it in Bristol, and I've met all sorts of wonderful people at Bluescreen, sharing films, so I love it.
Brave young men of St. Ives jumped to the lifeboat, and with all the strength they could, set out to risk rescue of those perishing.
I think the first thing I screened was a music video in 2004, and at the time I lived in South Wales, and so it was kind of a really good opportunity to go somewhere and showcase my work and see kind of like an audience reaction.
Whoa, 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 don't just say no.
The Day We Changed the World is a documentary about two aspiring DJs who are trying to make it in Bristol's bass music scene. I followed around Celador and Casual Salmon for a week about a year ago now, and spent months and months editing all the footage. Screened it first at Bluescreen.
Urban.
If I knew how to sue people, I'd sue Mark, I reckon, for what was it? What would you call it?
Chivalry. No, that's not the right word.
I don't know the legal terms, but I think he just made us look bad, and it's ruined, sort of like affected our lives a bit, innit? So yeah. I think you can sue people for that.
I'm getting half the women.
So there's our funky ident, but we decided just to use the middle bit because it was a bit too distracting. with all the stuff going on. So yeah, and this is the software that we've got recently, which is free, which means we can play stuff onto the big projector. Let's get rid of that. Yeah, so this is a software that's actually designed to play out for a cable television station, and it allows us to send the signal to our really nice kind of 2K cinema projector. So in the last couple of blue screens, everything's looking a lot better basically, and sounding really good as well. So that's really nice. So yeah, we basically just queue all the files when people bring files up, and we just play them one after another. And then when it gets to the little ident, it just carries on going forever. Ooh, there you go. Until we start going to the next one.
It means that we can do analysis to find out what pigments were used originally, but you can also make an educated guess if you don't have the resources to do that analysis on the spot. In a museum environment, it's very important that we control the humidity and light in particular while paintings are on display.
The other way of working, which I'm trying to do more of now, which is just basically, making my own stuff, which is kind of what this colour documentary thing is about, is it's kind of, where do you draw the line? Where do you, what shape is that line? So it's difficult to have a framework to work within, and Bluescreen can be that, definitely.
Well, we're kind of doors open at 7:30.
Yeah.
So we're hoping to open the doors from about 8, just after. We'll have to play it by ear.
Right.
The ethos of Bluescreen is to mix it up, not show one type of film. And I think it makes it for a more exciting evening, because at one point you're being sort of lulled by a sort of soft music video, and then some skate videos in your face, and then you got some intriguing mini drama going on for the next film, and then you've got a documentary that draws you in. So it's kind of using different aspects of your brain, I guess, to sort of focus on as eclectic. I think that's the word.
Goodbye. Today is a good day to fly.
I'm sorry.
The thing about films is I love all different types of films. I love incredibly beautiful masterpieces, and I love really bad horror. With Bluescreen, you can kind of get that range. But I think because of that, because there's stuff where maybe people are trying film for the first time, there's like a really kind of nice freedom to their work. And I think when you kind of get into filmmaking and you're kind of given all these different rules, it's like, it must be like this and it must be like that. It's really refreshing to see somebody just starting out and not adhering to the rules because they haven't been drummed into them, I guess. And to be able to see films like that can kind of give you a step back and then go, actually, that freedom's really nice to see.
Bluescreen is who turns up on the night. The orchestra is who turns up on the night as well, and what kind of mood they're in and what instruments they bring.
I don't know, let's see. Go and have a quick word with him before we make a decision.
There's one criteria for joining the Cube Orchestra, and that is to locate the correct door. And that does fox people, actually, despite the fact they are told quite clearly in an email not to come to the main entrance. there's quite a few people who've spent quite a lot of time standing in the car park wondering what's going on.
Yeah, the reason to do the Bluescreen documentary is to kind of record something that's been part of the Cube's history, you know, because it has been here since 2001. A lot of people who've come and showed the films have also come back again and became volunteers. So I guess it is a document of the Cube itself.
I'm particularly uninspired by digital animation, by the kind that you do in a Flash program or something like that. It doesn't enchant me. It doesn't hold any magic, and that's the very thing that I do like about animation, is that kind of magic. And so for that reason, all my animation work is largely some kind of old-fashioned technique, like paper cutouts or sand animation or hand-drawn animation.
Bluescreen's stayed involved and helped filmmakers up the ladder, I guess, into either making more short films or making feature films, you know, which they've gone on to do. And you know, there have been quite a few people who've gone into the industry and, you know, become quite successful in their fields. And you know, I like to think that by being here and offering them that space to make their first film, that has given them a lift up the ladder.
Off the back of David Changed the World, I've landed some good work. Just recently shot a TV pilot. Got to work with a red camera for the very first time, which was great. I've also got 2 short films in the works that I'm editing for other people, first-time directors. That's the dream, eventually, is to become a feature film director and make my living solely from that.
Bluescreen changed our lives for various reasons. Some good, some bad. What are you going to do about it?
Yeah. I've got the all clear since then as well. I met someone that night, groupies, riddled.
That was the idea, really, you know, just to kind of like break open and break down those kind of barriers that filmmakers have all the time to kind of like get their material shown in front of an audience. And to also get away from the fact that there was programming involved. You know, this is an event which there could be absolutely anything on there. It could be terrible, it could be great, but it was up to the audience to decide as opposed to somebody programming it. So that's kind of how it started.
Bluescreen is remarkable for the variety of content and the kind of sheer creativity which gets poured into that. I mean, last week was a particularly fine crop of films, 19 films, with a total running time of whatever it was, over 3 hours.
Oh, everything about it. I think it's wonderful. It's just always such a surprise and an inspiration. And I'm curious, I really want to know what people are doing. Everyone's busy, you know, behind the scenes, outside of the few hours they have when they're not trying to pay the rent and get their money together. They end up doing all these peculiar things.
What's great about the Bluescreen screenings is, you know, you can take a longer film up to 20 minutes long, sit there and your audience are captivated, you know. Everyone's there to watch other people's work as well as to watch their own thing if they've brought something along.
The success of Bluescreen, why it's lasted so long, is because we still have that policy of, you know, supporting local filmmakers, and they kind of support us back by bringing in their films.
Sign this, nothing weird will happen.
I'm Merlin, I'm a local artist, an up-and-coming artist, and we're in Stokes Croft.
Lock and low.
Yes, Derek speaking.
Oh yeah, good evening. Can you tell me what your map's like and what place it is?
My name's Max. I live in Bristol. I'm an aspiring filmmaker studying at UWE and I'm 23.